Welcome to the Opera Puppet Class.
I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart?
Paimon's excited to see another of Linny's magic shows! Wait.
Not this time. My brother's going solo today. So, I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin. The great magician Linny has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight.
Wow!
Thank you all.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just... It reminds me...
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician, so how did you two first meet, Gemma?
Well, I was out on the street once. Children love magic because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. See, and somehow I felt drawn to him too.
Aw, that sounds so
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his finger. I was so happy.
Oh, that's so cute! Actually...
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you...
That's right! Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now. Phantom Weasel.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what? The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean, Phantom Weasel?
As Linny once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act?
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on!
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all There will now be a brief intermission, after which Linny will perform the final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places. Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't. This is a big mistake for a magician to make. But thankfully, I do have a
Linny? Don't we have more important things to address right now? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago. Oh, what the heck's going on?
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking. I know the questions you want to ask.
Really? Well then, let's hear it!
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and no treasure was safe from her But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities for people to buy the story when the truth came out.
So then what?
Being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to... But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale. What's brought this on, Linny? Is it something...
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me, even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have... With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is unshakable, even under threats of violence. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Everyone sympathized with your... Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind his demise?
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of admitting to being the weasel himself?
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Linny, if you're so confident in your version of events, having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the weasel remained free, then she could take care of...
An excellent answer, though sadly a little dull.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to...
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to... Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people? Could you shed any light on that?
Of course. After all, we're just telling stories here, aren't we? If I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel must have had a terrible childhood. Left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed, scorned, beaten. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. She'd sew ugly rag dolls from whatever scrap material she could get. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. And once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. I detest the happiness of others. In all its... I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
Now, does this story satisfy you, Linny?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
Huh. That's right. What drove you to write that? Because without that, none of this would have ever come...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by Linny. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the Opera House.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear Caesar's name. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me 10 years ago.
10 years ago? You mean Caesar's death? Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. It's been so long, and you're all grown up now. I didn't recognize you. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all this trouble. Why? Because
We remember all our debts, however great or small. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, and no one cares what the truth is anymore. But we did not forget, and so we came to find you.
And? What exactly did you take from me? I'm still...
Free? Do you really think so? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, I think that applies to you too. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime to fill the hole? Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be directed towards him. But he knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, deep down, that he is the only... But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you, you'll never see it again.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it. You've still got a long life ahead of you after all.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Linny to perform his final act in tonight's show. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand...
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his... But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused.
Guess that's my cue to leave. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true witness.
Lenny, you two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about, you don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Linny said, when you're ready, let's head outside and watch the show.
but what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough.
All right. Well, let's go and watch Lenny's finale then. This trick's a pretty dangerous one, but he should be able to...
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's all right. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Linny is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished, right in front of my eyes.
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Linny has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask. Whew. Looks like everyone really loved Linny's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Linny anywhere. Where'd he go? Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, oh, you mean the one where Caesar? Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed like Linny's way of saying goodbye to Caesar. So I meant, alright, let's go look for him there. Are you alright? Paimon was scared to death when—
Magic is a performance art. I was honestly a little... Sometimes, did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or did he believe that...
You know?
After I joined the House of the Hearth, to be honest, Lynette and I had an agenda when we approached him. I told you about my past before, but I quickly realized I needed to learn how to improve my sleight. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves, but without proper guidance from a professional magician, we could...
So that's why you sought Caesar out?
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking, but it took us by... In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, but in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed soon after, what amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I would... Trust is a beautiful thing.
Linny...
Still worried about... But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, after Caesar went on that night, I remembered his smile. But as I lay there, to keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them.
Yeah, cheer up, Linny. We've had delicious food, fun toys, and the Traveler by my side. Paimon just needs to focus on things like this, and all the unhappy stuff goes right out the window. You know, Traveler, doesn't that kinda make you Paimon's truth?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each... That's why the darkness never consumed me and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every All right.
It was amazing!
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly card-free right now.
Aw, come on!
Oh, all right then. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me. Okay, try this. Count down with me. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers appeared somewhere else.
Really? Like see. Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different flower from the last time, right? But more importantly, Paimon has to know how—
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to start by addressing me.
Fine. Please, teacher, please!
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you.
Is that it?
Ah, look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I look forward to seeing you again.
All right, fine. See, shall we head back down too? Paimon can't wait to read the Steambird. Let's head to the